Alright, I'm gonna get this out of the way first. I think everyone pronounces this game Mick Kids, except for me. I'm the oddball out, which isn't surprising. I have always, since childhood, called it MC Kids. Why? Let's look at the actual cartridge. On the front label, there's a period in between the M and the C. On the top label, there's a period after both the M and the C. At the title screen, what do you know? Periods. So sorry, it's MC Kids. Yes, it's a game based on some McDonald's characters. McDonald's doesn't have any periods in its name. So screw you guys, it's MC Kids. There. Now that I got that out of my system, let's properly begin this review. MC Kids is a story about two kids named Mick and Mac that are camping outside in a tent, reading a book, when suddenly they're pulled into Ronald McDonald's world. The big clown's magic bag was stolen, and now Mick and Mac are responsible to find it. But they can't progress onto later levels without finding what are called puzzle cards. Each character has 6 of them, and there are some hidden ones located for other characters in each stage. Not every character needs all 6 in order to allow you to progress to the next world, but it does give you a bonus of sorts if you can manage to find them all. It may sound confusing, but once you start playing, or possibly even after watching this review, you might understand it. What I will say of this story is that it's mostly forgettable. You're told about this bag of magic, and it's never really mentioned again until the very end of the game. Instead, you're just told by each McDonald's character that they need their own set of puzzle cards to allow you to proceed to the next one. I don't get why Ronald, Birdie, and Grimace don't just gang up and beat the shit out of the Hamburglar. Sure, he's hiding in a volcano, but even with that being a case, why send in 2 young kids? Makes a ton of sense. Finding these puzzle cards are the focal point of the game. There's at least 1 in every stage, although sometimes you may find 2, but no more than that. You can re-enter any stage that you may have missed cards on. Although you can't see it from the map screen, once you hit the end of the stage arch icon, a square pops up if you're missing a card in that level. The catch is that this will appear even if you found all of the cards, as the game doesn't consider them obtained until it tells you this after tripping the goal line. So in essence, if you think you're missing a card, you'll have to replay a level at least twice to find out. Bit tedious, but most levels can be completed in only a few short minutes. Thankfully, I played this game so much as a kid, I remember where the majority of the cards were located. However, if you're playing this for the first time, getting to some of the card locations is really going to be a trying affair. Some of them are hidden so well that you're really going to have to explore every nook and cranny just to find them all. I was a kid without the internet, so I found them all just by determination. But in this lazy generation of internet walkthroughs, you may be clutching one just to find them all. Honestly though, some cards can be difficult to find. None of them are that difficult that you'll need to walk through. Typically, you'll see paths that you may not have been able to reach at first because you overshot it or even screwed up your approach to it. So you might redo the stage to try it again and find the card. Other times you may see the card, but not a way to it. So you'll just keep playing in order to find a way to get your grubby hands on it. None of the game is really that much of a brain teaser. So how about the gameplay? Many people consider this to be a clone of Super Mario 3, but I don't entirely see it. Yes, it has a map system. Yes, it has collectible arches, at which 100 gives you a minigame. Yes, there are blocks you can pick up, but so do a lot of other games. Are we comparing those to Mario 3? Usually, no. In fact, MC Kids has a lot more unique mechanics, which I'll get to in a moment. First, before I go off track, Mario 3 has you jumping on enemies, throwing fireballs and hammers, and that fucking frog suit. MC Kids has Mick and Mac only throwing various blocks at enemies. You cannot jump off of their heads. Well, you can, but you're taking damage, and with that lose 10 arches, and recovering health is a bit of a chore. Before I get to that health, I'll explain some of the blocks. You have your standard tan blocks, you have porous blocks, which only really are seen on the final stages, and those float on lava. You have a two-toned block that can be reused, but its primary use is to throw at the dotted outline so you can use it as a moving platform. You typically need this for gaining hard-to-reach puzzle cards. As for throwing these blocks, it does take a bit of getting used to. If you're standing still, the character throws it straight down, forcing it to bounce off the ground. If you're running, the first bounce actually happens sooner. You can throw the block down by holding down, or up by holding up. Once you get a bit more skilled with it, you can also throw them at other angles. It really does take some practice, but the game is fairly easy, so you'll be fine. As for recovering your health, well, it's not so easy. There are only 2 ways to do it, 3 if you count dying. Although there are 1-up blocks scattered all over the place, there are no health blocks. Instead, the only way to heal up is by killing enemies. Every 10 enemies you kill nets you a recovered heart. This is the more common way of healing. The other way is to hit 2 enemies with 1 block. This usually requires either knowing the stage or a very lucky shot. Although you only start with 3 hearts, 4 is maximum, so you can't go beyond that. In addition, there is no continue system. Once you lose all of your lives, the game's over. This shouldn't be a problem, because with re-entering stages and finding the abundance of extra lives and arches, you'll never need to worry about lives. Right, the arches. I already said that if you grab 100 of them, you get to a minigame. This minigame is a simple puzzle in which 4 switches will turn on, and only one of them will move the block up. Hit the wrong one and it will move down. You want to get one of the blocks high enough so that you can jump to the upper deck. You then have 2 zippers to choose from. By the way, the zippers are the doorways of the game. Land of Magic, remember? Anyway, through those zippers, which sounds totally wrong, 5 1-ups are located. There are about a half dozen rooms that can be randomly chosen, so some of them you can grab all of the 1-ups, and yet others you can't. It's literally random to what you get. Oh, and you need to successfully clear the stage with 100 arches to access this bonus game. If you grab 100 arches and die, you lost it. Better luck next time. There are also times where you'll need to go upside down. To do so, you'll use these spinners. Run at them at full speed and you'll flip around. You'll still need to be careful, because now if you fall through the sky, you're just as dead as falling into a pit. I should mention the moon stage too. 3 of these stages, out of the possible 4, have less gravity, so jumping gets you much farther than before. Of course, jumping haphazardly is asking to die, because there are plenty of floating robot heads and weird tongues coming from the ground that will prevent you from continuing your journey, so you do still need to be careful. Yes, the game is simple, but there are a few quirks. For one, enemies respawn way too quickly. It's not as bad as Ninja Gaiden, yet I don't think anything really is, but it's still frustrating to leave a screen, come back a second later and run right into the enemy you just plastered with a block. These blocks don't respawn either, so sometimes you'll weigh whether to bother killing the enemy or just bypassing it. Secondly, there's not a single boss until the very last stage of the game. It's not even the Hamburglar. It's the Bag of Tricks. It's possessed and it's throwing things to stop you. That's right, Ronald McDonald, beloved clown mascot, that's always trying to get kids to buy Happy Meals, isn't actually killing you with fast food. He's using his damn magic bag. Deep. This thing isn't so bad either once you get the patterns of attack down. You have some blocks available, but if you decide not to use them or run out, there's a mound of dirt that you can throw. You can't throw those as far, but they still do the job. Dirt doing as much damage as a hard block. Yeah, we'll just move on now. The only reason why the final stage of the game is so difficult is because there's literally lava everywhere. One wrong step and that lava is killing you. Add in lava creatures that burn bridges, fireheads that continuously get spewed from pipes on the walls, an unpassable point if you didn't grab a porous block, a mind-fuckingly impossible to get one up, and a conveyor belt type platform that forces you to move one way or another to get them going, you're going to wonder where this difficulty was the rest of the game. Thankfully, there's really only 3 stages plus the final boss stage in Hamburglar's Lair. But wait, what about the secret puzzle cards? Well, once you grab all 6 of Ronald's cards, he'll open up a hidden path to the left of his map. Enter this, and welcome to Puzzle World. In order to even play any of those levels, you need to find all 6 hidden cards. And the last one is in the 3rd stage of Hamburglar's Lair. That's right, this isn't even playable until you're close enough to finish the damn game. Seems like the strange place to put the final hidden card. But anyway, this world will test all of your platforming skills. There are no enemies whatsoever, other than the endless void at the bottom of the screen. As a kid, I never found this level. It was only when playing the game when I got older that I found it. I had noticed that the secret cards never really did anything, so I backtracked, talked to all of the characters again, and bam, new world. Made sense. I wish I had the box to show you, because on the back of it, all 3 pictures were based on the hidden puzzle world. As a kid, I was confused. I played the game a lot, but never found those stages. I thought there was a problem with the box art. Not the case as it turns out. And your reward for completing these confusing 3 levels? 10 lives. Not really worth it in my humble opinion. The game does allow 2 players, although no co-op. If you're playing with a friend, player 1 is Mick and 2 is Mac. If you're going solo, you can switch characters by hitting the block with the moon on it. There's no actual difference between the 2, other than the race of the characters. That's something you didn't see every day back then. The graphics of the game are pretty impressive. There's some good detail to the characters, and the levels themselves all have awesome backgrounds. There's trees in the forest stages, mountains on the flatter ones, dirt and rocks in the caverns. Even the waterfalls look great. Overall, it's a very colorful game. Oh, and Mick and Mac have blinking animations when standing still. Very cool. The sound is equally as good. Sadly, there aren't a ton of music tracks, but the ones that are present are very pleasing to hear. Some of it is pretty bass heavy, so crank up the speakers and enjoy. That's all I got for MC Kids. Really, it does get a lot of flack, but I think it really stems from it being a game with McDonald's character. Although the actual tie-in could have been substituted with any other characters that were made up on the spot. Regardless, I'd recommend this one. It's a fun, solid afternoon killer. Final score? 9 out of 10. And If you guys want to be dicks and criticize the fact that I'm calling MC Kids and not Mick Kids, well, that's fine. I can take the heat. I'm just going on the cartridge that I have in front of me. This is Reaper. Happy fragging.